There's a pattern I've seen with high performers. They don't struggle because they lack strategy. They struggle because their concept of their self-worth, it doesn't yet align with their desired reality that they're building. So I'm going to share with you how that actually works with reality architecture. It's Marni Bellezito here. Welcome to this episode. Self-worth sets reality, not effort. And the key to this is what most people don't understand is your entire life is governed by your concept of your self-worth. You can change this at any given time. It is not permanent. It is only permanent for those who don't explore this and remain unconscious to the laws of the universe and how psychology actually works. And I'm going to share with you as to why some people actually attract all of these incredible things in their life, whether it's relationships, wealth, freedom, peace, joy, presence, happiness, laughter, the magic of life, the successes, whatever it is for you, and why other people just seem to feel like they can't get ahead. They're stuck at a certain level. I call this the invisible ceiling. Let's get straight into it. So right now you're going to see that when people are completely focusing on what they don't have and what they don't like about their life, what happens is they almost create an energetic, consider it like an energetic bubble around them, even though it's not specifically a bubble, but I've drawn it as a bubble to make sense of it today. What happens is your auric field starts to hold the heaviness of these emotions. The emotions sit on a scale, and the higher the emotion, meaning the happier, more abundant, all these emotions that you see in orange, for example, their emotions, their experiences, their opportunities, their moments, their frequencies, I call them frequencies. They are at the higher echelon of the frequency scale. Now, you'll see these red emotions, and there are more I could have included, but this is what we'll start with. They are on the lower end of the frequency chart. The lower the frequency is, the more dense it is. The more dense it is, the heavier it feels, the more unpleasant it feels for us. So what happens is most people have built their self-worth because it's not their fault, but it's come through subconscious programming, which is essentially the paradigm that you carry. The paradigm that you carry has been influenced by the environment that you've grown up in, the people who were most influential in your life, the relationships and experiences that were most traumatic and also the most elevated emotionally, the most emotionally charged. Now, if I said to you right now, think about that relationship that you think about most from your past, let's say. You may be in a relationship now, but think about that one relationship that it's kind of haunted you throughout life, whether it's haunted you because it was so peaked in elevation, it could have been your first love, or whether it was such a tragic experience, a terrible experience. Ultimately, it is charged with emotion, and that is why it is at the top of mind. And that pretty much has created a paradigm for you towards relationships. Now, you may have done some of the internal work to release that paradigm, but there are still fragments and remnants of it. So that is another topic that we can talk about in future episodes when we get to more relationship focus. But for now, let's stay on track with self-worth. So self-worth, which does impact your relationships, but self-worth. When people have a lower sense of self-worth, and most people have had levels of highly charged emotional states that have impacted their concept of who they are. The good news is it's not permanent. You can change at any time, and I'm teaching you the frameworks that help you and empower you to actually have the agency to change this. Your self-worth will continuously stay to the level of what your primary thoughts and emotions are. And if your primary thoughts are that you're not enough, you're not good enough, you're not attractive, all of the experiences, those thoughts that replay in your mind, then the universe and life itself says, and so it is. How many times have you come across a not so attractive person, but they are highly magnetic. There's just something about them. Their charisma, they could be enchanting. Some people will put it down to confidence, but I will share with you that confidence is actually a byproduct of your self-concept, and not everyone who has good self-worth has consistent confidence. Confidence for them can be created through their level of competency, what they're achieving. And as soon as the achievements are gone, the level of self-worth will plummet down to the baseline. The baseline is your energetic set point. And that is why you will find that you keep attracting the same kind of relationships, the same kind of business experiences, the type of clients, the same kind of occurrences occurring on repeat, the same kind of behaviors you may have and how you see life, because it impacts your perception, and hence you keep having this same looping experience. You're here today because it's highly likely you want to change that, and I'm going to show you a basic framework as to how you can. So your self-worth, as I mentioned, is completely impacted by your primary thoughts and your primary emotions. Those primary thoughts and emotions, when you take a look at this, I've rubbed a few of the words out, but if you are consistently in an environment that has drama, fighting, worrying, you consistently pick relationships where the person or you are in fear, there's anger, frustration, reality will continuously mirror this back to you. If you are watching movies, series, listening to music that is sad, constantly talking about how you're not enough, that is full of anger and violence, that is degrading to women, degrading to men. I have a lot to say on this. Where people are arguing, all these negative, frustrated emotions. Now, why do people listen to these songs? Because they feel like it brings them some level of outlet. But the issue here is the more you listen to it, the more you solidify the certainty of your self-concept that you are the one to attract that. And you have to remove these things out of your life. If you want your reality to change, you've got to do like a detox, digital detox, a musical detox, a TV show detox, movie detox, book detox, could do a friend detox. It has to be a detox. We've all been through it. And I am vigilant in this area. So you have to detox your environment, because your environment, as I mentioned earlier, is continuously bringing you memory to your subconscious mind of your initial self-concept. And your self-concept always impacts your frequency, which always impacts what you attract and what life, the universe, through people, through experiences, through opportunities, will continuously bring to you, because that is the magnet that you are. You are attracted to it. And magnetism, we are all magnetic because we are made of vibration. We are all magnetic, but you don't want to be attracting things that you don't want in your life. And that means you have to do a detox and clean out the things. And you won't be conscious of this initially. These are going to be habits that you've accumulated over a very long period of time, and they feel harmless, but they're not. And most people are completely oblivious to this. My clients come to me and I catch straight away unconscious loops that they have, the behaviors in their subconscious mind, the patterns in their subconscious mind that are actually keeping them capped at this level. You can only attract to the level of your self-worth, period. Because your self-worth is determining your identity, your frequency. Your self-worth determines what you receive and attract in life, how you receive and attract in life. It is the absolute life force behind it. So it is really, really important that you elevate it. And you may say, well, how do I elevate it? You have to change your frequency. You have to switch what you're focusing on. switch what's in the environment. You have to switch potential relationships or people who bring down your vibration, because you will absorb the energy from the people around you. And it takes a master, I must say, to know how to manage that and not let the outside world impact you internally. It takes work, but it can be done. And the elite clients that I work with, who work in environments where their internal state, extremely high value, extremely high value. When I say high value, it's imperative to them. They place their self-worth, their internal state, as their highest currency. You place your self-worth at your highest currency, you are going to want to know the tools and the systems and the frameworks of how the architecture of reality works. So you are operating on a different level, because your self-worth determines your wealth, determines how you use your time. It determines how you optimize things, how life becomes more effortless and with more ease, and things work for you rather than against you. No matter how high your results spike, they will always come back down to your state, which is governed by your self-concept, your self-worth, no matter what. So it doesn't matter what happens in life. And you can say, oh, I'm very successful, but I've got a low self. It's going to come back down. This is how energy works. One of the universal laws is what goes up must come down. This is where it applies. Your success will rise, but it will come back down to meet you at your state. It will come back to meet you at your frequency, your base frequency, vibration. Your base frequency, which is also known as, your base frequency is your vibration. The frequency is the energy it emits. And when I say energy emits, it's the emotion in motion. It's how you feel about yourself. How you feel about yourself. And I'm not talking from an egotistical, arrogant, protected sense, because narcissists, for example, didn't know if I'd be mentioning that word today, but narcissists have such a low sense of self-worth that they have hyperfixated on building a false sense of identity. What they've done is they've fabricated a sense and an identity that looks for people who have lower self-worth than them, who will then pour into them and feed their need for validation. A narcissist, we are talking about narcissists today. Narcissist, don't know, N-A-R-C-I-S-S, I don't know, we'll figure out how to spell it. Narcissist has such low self-worth. They cannot stand being around someone who's more intelligent, more successful, higher self-concept, more confident, doesn't need them. They cannot stand it because it absolutely pulls the rug from under them. And what happens is they will try to find your weak point, wherever it is. They will look for it. Say this is you, and say you're strong mostly, but then there's these little holes that you've never really healed. And they will listen to you attentively and show you all of this attention. And then it'll get to a point where they will find the hole, and they will continuously start digging at that over and over again until your level of self-esteem, self-worth, or confidence and all of that manner that you have diminishes, and all of a sudden you won't recognize yourself. And all of a sudden they are feeding off your energy, because now you want to fix them, you want to, people worship the person. Usually people will call this an empath. Usually, I'll just put that there for now. There's more to this than basic empath and narcissist relationship. It actually is to do with the laws of polarity more so. So the law of polarity states that you will, if you are extreme in any shape or form, like this person is absolutely low self-worth, they are going to look for someone of low self-worth, and they're going to try and polarize it. They're going to try and place themselves on a pedestal. They're going to look for someone who places them on a pedestal, and they're going to feed off that energy. That in itself is an entity between you two. So there is a relationship between the two of you. So there is an entity that exists between the two of you. And the more this person impacts the person who has lower self-worth, even though their self-worth is extremely low, they are feeding off this person, elevating them and pouring their energy continuously into them. That is an entity, because the entity grows. So when I say they're feeding into them, they're feeding into this entity. That's actually where it's happening. There's a relationship between you. It's an entity. As soon as you walk away, you no longer feed the entity. It shrinks and it dissolves. So coming back to, no matter how high your results spike, you will always return and snap back to the level of identity that is underneath the surface, the external projection that people present and perform, to what is true and authentic. This is why you are going to elevate your state to reach an elevated frequency. And that will change your set point for your self-worth. Comment below, let me know what part of the world you're from, and maybe the one lesson that you've taken away from today. Share with me in the comments below. It's Marni Bellezito here. I'll see you next time.